Attack when you're ready.
Just as planned.
A for effort, at least.
Oh, you gonna cry?
I happen to know that Goku isn't the only Super Saiyan.
The real Trunks.
Matter of fact, you're looking at one.
You'll never beat me.
This was odd, man. Mecha Frieza?
Yeah, Mecha Frieza I was not expecting that. I was like, oh, why?
Y'all was not expecting Mecha Freak? Come on, bro.
No. I'll be honest,
I wasn't really.
Much stronger than expected, but still are not beyond my calculations.
I will let some puppet kill.
And I'm glad that they at least like try. They're like, hey, we know no one's gonna pick Android 19, but we're putting him in the game anyway. It's like, fair enough.
Okay, come get me if you can.
There's no escaping me.
I must hurry up and reach perfection.
Now we get to the heart of Tim's complaints.
According to my calculations,
Cell 1,
you and
Cell
I
2,
are almost
Cell 3,
equal in power.
Cell Junior, Cell 4.
My power is significantly greater than before. Would you like me to show you? You won't get away! What's the matter? Is that all? Who are you?
I like how the characters are extremely expressive.
Being serious.
Yeah, and honestly, some of the graphics are a little wonky, but that might be the best like model of perfect cell I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
He looks amazing. I can't think about like everyone else's face, but Perfect Cell looks like incredible.
No regrets, boy.
Truth is, I hate fighting.
I thought you said you were going to defeat me. All right, Cell Juniors.
Yeah, they definitely took time on Cell. I think the other characters they're gonna
I must use my last resort.
They'll be visual
even
patches
16
for sure.
look 16 looks great too.
Yeah.
These guys
Some
look
of the-
finished more than everybody else, to be honest. with you.
Yeah.
I've gotta stop this, no matter what.
I'm not gonna lie. You've seen so many Dragon Ball games now that even Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's starting to feel like diminishing returns. Like, you know, like they try to hype it up with the Japanese music. I'm just like, I'm not as like hype about this Gohan as I used to be during the Budokai era. I'm just like,
Oh, because you've seen where Gohan has gone, so it's like
right.
Because you know what becomes of him.
Yeah.
Nothing.
This is where he peaks as a character.
Made me cry. Tell your mom I'm sorry.
Dad, you're not.
So now when you give us Dragon Ball Z Kakarot 2, how many times we gonna go through this saga? That's the thing, man.
It's time I ended
Well,
this.
I mean, if they do Kakarot 2, it'll probably be what, Dragon Ball Super, I'd imagine.
Oh my God.
And I think there's enough material there to do Dragon Ball Z Super.
Gotta believe in yourself, Gohan. Right now, you're the strongest person in the whole universe.
Sparkling water.
Sparkling water, wow. My goodness. It's not gonna be as bad as this Naruto game though, but you know.
No. I mean, we've talked about this in the group chat. I feel like this game, at least, I don't know about a day one purchase. I won't go that far, but it's won me over from the initial release trailer. Like, I'm more like,
yeah.
it looks pretty good.
What won me over, what made me realize that I will probably in this game is when they showed the footage of they're at the tournament and Goku Vegeta basically powering up and they start flying, and then the announcer's like, "Oh, everybody, it's time to go," and the people start running out of the crowd, running out, and then the stage opens up.
It gets
That
bigger.
was like,
I was like, that's pretty cool.
I enjoyed that. Yeah. So if there's more of that energy throughout the entire entire game, I could say, for people who want the game, I think this is a good purchase for you.
Yeah. There was that one clip I sent you guys in the group chat a couple of weeks ago where like they're fighting and I think somebody got knocked into a building, and instead of the building just collapsing, they were fighting in the building. Now, granted, the building was empty, but I'm just like, oh, that was one of the things that we complained about. Like, these buildings fall apart like paper mache every time someone gets kicked around it. And it's like, no, now there's like partial stage destruction. Like, there's these things that like we've been nitpicking the Tenkaichi series for years about. And it's like, oh no, they actually did address some of these things. But what did you guys think, or what do you guys think about like how Sparking Zero is shaping up? Tim, obviously we know you're still not the most impressed.
No, because it's like, all right, to me, Especially like, it has, as Jory always talks about growth. We're still praising, like, people are praising the same old marketing, bro.
Mm.
It's like, bro, how many Tenkaichi games and spiritual successes after that we've been through? We know these characters are in the game.
Hmm.
Because, like, yes, who did Trunks fight? He fought Mecha Frieza, so you already know it's going to be Mecha Frieza and King Cold. You already know these things. You already know there's going to be 4 versions of Cell. You already know, yeah, it's going to be 3 Teen Gohans. There's going to be. It's just that, bro. Like, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I feel like, we're kind of like moving steps backwards. Like, yes, there are some areas where they touched up a bit, but you already know the base level of combat is just going to be the same
But
to me.
and we've talked about this to some degree in previous pods, so I don't want to necessarily rehash the same point. But I mean, is it wrong for them to have a market for that though? Like, it's a party fighter. It's not supposed to be meant. It's not supposed to be taken too seriously, right? It's more spectacle than. I mean, sure, there's gameplay mechanics, but it's not. It's not. It's the Super Smash Brothers of Dragon Ball Z, essentially. Like, is that bad?
No, it's not bad. And I will say that on the duality sense of things, it's not bad. Overall, my opinion, I just didn't want to return to something like this.
That's fair.
I just didn't really want to because I kind of felt like even as I was watching the cell transformations, I was like, bro, all this is just a new aesthetic and a new super.
Yeah.
Because you already know, first Lotus Locust cell, it's the one where he stabs Piccolo with the
Mm-hmm.
tail.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Big Lip cell, his version of the Big Bang
Debo
attack.
Cell.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
first perfect cell is when he does the energy field,
Yeah, the energy barrier.
and then of course
The
super
solar
perfect cell.
Kamehameha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and oh yeah, and one of his extra attacks will just be the Death Beam because he killed Trunks.
Right.
And it's like you already just know these things, bro. You just know them.
I mean, again, that's to speak to the duality. I think that is a fair critique, right? I think that is a fair thing to say. Like, even when I look at some of the lesser played characters, like I look at Tien, right? And we were talking about this in the group chat of like, it would be interesting to get a Dragon Ball version of Tien because I feel like they've given up trying to innovate modern Tien of like, where is his multiple form technique? Where is like all the things that he did? Like, where is like a volleyball fist super? Like, you're just gonna give him the same Dodon Ray, Tri Beam, cuts off his health gimmick over and over and over. Even though Tien's one of the most diverse fighters in the Z universe, it's like all those things that he's able to do, you're not putting it in this game because
But you
he's
see,
Tien.
that's the thing. Dragon Ball was more taijutsu based combat.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the issue with this is everything is more about beams, flight, high speed. And that's where I kind of felt Fighter Z found a balance of both. Like you
Mm-hmm.
were able to do your beams, but you were also like, you were able to see the marvelousness and also the techniques in the taijutsu style. Like you remember when Master Roshi's grab, that's when he does the loopy
The
fist, like
hypnosis, yeah, it's
the
unblockable.
hypnosis on you.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you try to like, jump and dash at the person, oh, here's the thunder shock surprise. Bah. It's like there was room for everything, bro. And I just kind of felt like because especially like, all right, for example, look at Yamcha. Yamcha, you could tell like, yes, when he's in your face, you'll get the generic, I would say, Tenkaichi style combat, but they might make him a bit faster, since he's a much
Yeah.
more rushed down character.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to see the marvelousness of what Fighter Z gave us because, first off, for example, every time, like when they do like taijutsu based attacks, everything is a rush. They just dash into you and then it goes into a cutscene of da 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 and they smack you down.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like you feel like you are in the combo type of feel.
I think I get what you're saying. It's a little bit more formulaic, right? It's
Yeah.
like they have a beam attack, they have a cutscene attack, they have a bigger cutscene attack, and then they transform and do it all over again.
Yes.
That's fair, right? I think that's why it's like it is one of those things where it's like I don't think it has to be the definitive Dragon Ball experience and like it has to cover all the bases. I do look at this as more of a party fighter of like I understand I'm getting more spectacle and like technical prowess, but in that aspect, I'm like I need that spectacle to kind of be amazing, right? Like I think that's one of those things where like that's what started to kind of me personally turn me away from the Tenkaichi series. Is like the combos are pretty generic, the formula is pretty simple, but the spectacle was fairly good. But then it got to a point where the spectacle was the same thing over and over again, right? And one of the things that I found at least cool about this game is like you even look at Goku, the man got 10 transformations. All of them have Kamehameha, but they're all done a little bit differently, which I can respect. I'm like, okay, at least, you know, this angle looks a little better. The God Kamehameha has a little bit more particle effects than the Super Kamehameha. It's like, all right, I can see there's a little more nuance this time with some of these characters.
And then the main thing that really ticks me off about this game, bro, is like, look at the pre-order bonus. That is just a definite sign of how are they going to sell you 7 years down the line, bro. Because you made a good point, bro. The movie characters, the Dragon Ball Z movie characters, bro, you already like, especially as this roster is starting to fill up very fast. Like I could just see it, bro. I really do. Garlic Jr. might throw in like maybe some henchmen. Dr. Wheelo, Tree of Might, Turles, Lord Slug, Cooler. Next transformation Cooler. Oh, Meta Cooler.
Android 13.
Two versions of Android 13, and then you got Android 14, 15, and it's just like, bro, that's almost like when you really look at it, depending on how they stretch out, bro, that's almost 20 characters right there.
21 is definitely going to make an appearance.
21 is going to be in the game for sure.
Both versions of 21.
Yeah, that's a couple of season passes.
I mean, well, actually, they might just give us the human version of 21. Because remember the Majin Buu hybrid, that's more of like a Fighters Z.
Like a what if type
of thing.
That's
Unless
true.
a movie comes out.
He has a point though, because if you look at Xenoverse 2, she's in Xenoverse 2, but she doesn't have the Majin form. It's just her human form.
Yeah.
Like she has all the same techniques except turning them into candy. So I
don't know.
Tim might be right. They may not do the Majin form. It might be a fighters only type thing.
That's just.
But then even if they do a movie, it's like, could they do a movie about 21? Because we just did Red Ribbon. Like that would have been the time to.
Show
her character.
The dude is still alive and he's working for Bulma, so you never may know. Like they're hinting that he's going to be a reoccurring character because she gave him a whole job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fresh out of prison and got 2 jobs. Well, the first one got messed up, but then now you got another one.
Right. What do you guys think about the rumors of the remaining roster going either way? Right, of like they've pretty much confirmed that there will be Dragon Ball characters to some extent in the game. Like General Tao is basically all but confirmed. Somebody did like a little screen grab showing Kid Goku, so we know for sure they're in the game.
To be honest, you just got to look at the past. Like, look at Tenkaichi, I would say 3, for example, because I feel like that was a real good, diverse roster of Dragon Ball characters. Mm-hmm. I pretty much expect all of them to be in there. You had Kid Goku, you had Tambourine, you had King Piccolo, you had General Blue, you had Android 8, you had that you had Pilaf. You had that little cyborg girl who I think they said she's technically immortal or something.
Yeah.
You had Mercenary Tao, then you had Cyborg Tao. And then to be honest, bro, like that's a good range of characters right there.
True. And I mean, since we already know for a fact that they're going to be selling as Dragon Ball Daima as DLC, like they've confirmed that pretty early on, it would kind of make sense to put the Dragon Ball era into the base roster, so you don't feel like you're getting Kid Goku twice, basically.
You have very high hopes. High hopes.
Because on the other side of that, right, there's also the Dragon Ball GT aspect of like it doesn't look like Dragon Ball G is making
they're
the
going
roster.
to sell every last single era possible, because as you realize, bro, we've only seen. This game has only showed Dragon Ball Z. They haven't showed Super.
They did show Super. Super was like the first trailer.
What
are you talking about?
Which characters?
What?
Yeah, hit. Yeah, hit.
They've showed Hit, KO, Cauliflower, the giant.
Yeah. So they've showed Z.
Jiren.
They showed Super.
Yeah, Jiren.
But you already know Dragon Ball, GT. That's gonna be sold, bro. That's gonna be sold.
I mean, it worked for Xenoverse. They sold the Super Saiyan 4 characters and people bought it. You know, like
It's
like I
the
said,
completion. It's the completionist in people, bro.
hmm,
Like even sometimes myself, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna get it just to say that I have it.
I I don't think that's a bad thing though, Tim. It's starting to look like a fun time. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it's just a party fighter. You don't take it seriously. It's 1, 2, 3 knock away super attack, but it looks good. It has enough modes. It has all the forms and fusions you would want in a game, and it looks better than Xenoverse.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, but that and Naruto, I'm just passing on that.
So you've been quiet about this game. You have any thoughts other than it started to win you over? Any thoughts on the
I
roster
think
and
I think they should pitch the characters we haven't ever seen before. That would because we already know these characters. Like the new generation. It does. I like the new generation. I get it, but that's not what got the people to. They weren't petitioning for the game. I know for a fact they weren't petitioning with the game with all this enthusiasm. So your audience for this particular game, why don't you now feature characters from the movies? Why can't they be instead of being DLC? You know, because if they did that, then whatever DLC possibly they'll release, I'll be excited for because I truly don't know what to expect this time. Um, yeah, they should. I just think we'll see when the game is out. So far, I like what I see. I feel like there's effort being put into it. Very lot of thought provoking things. Lot of thought provoking things. I like the time that they're taking in to animate it, and you will just see, man. I just would like them to show more characters, different characters. For if it was me doing the lineup for the roster, I would have definitely gone with the movie villains as a part of the game. You know what I'm saying? How many times should I have to sell you these guys? I would have set up the roster to be eras. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, GT, and just let people have fun. Then whatever DLC because I have to sell DLC, they're not gonna let me
Yeah.
get away with it, right?
Yeah.
Then I'll do the movies. If I didn't do the movies, I'll probably show characters that people found interesting. The movie characters would be a great DLC pitch. So, right, everybody,
I
we
think
get
that's
to
why
play
they
as
went that route.
Tapion.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
we
why they
get to
went that
play as
route. Though,
Tapion.
but I do agree with you though. I do agree with you in terms of like the marketing of like showing us the same Dragon Ball Z sagas in the trailers is not appealing. It's not.
It's
like
not. It's
you
not.
should have made like it's to the point where it's like Tim. Yes, Tim's not as like engaged in it, but it's like he completely forgot Super's in the game because they haven't marketed Super. It's like they'll
Yeah.
show like a whole Saiyan saga trailer. Oh, by the way, Cauliflower's in the game. Here, a whole like Frieza saga. Oh, by the way, what's it called? The Wolf brothers are in the game. Like, oh, by the way, Ultra Instinct's in the game. You haven't seen an Ultra Instinct trailer in like 3 months. It's like it's Dragon Ball Super kind of seemed like an afterthought in terms of the rollout.
Fat Boo, Evil Skinny Boo, Super Boo, Super Boo, Piccolo, Gotenks, Gohan, Kid Boo, Deborah, Bobbity. You already know what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
And then the way they could have did the roster for Dragon Ball Z, they could have even did that in sections. We already know Piccolo and the cast is going to be in the game. Why don't you do the tournament where Pycon and those other characters that were interesting?
He's a movie
Technically
character.
filler.
Yeah, he's a movie character at best. He's in Fusion Reborn with Janemba. He could be part of that pack.
Oh no, then the filler. Because the thing is, right? You guys, if you're gonna give me the most interesting roster, let me see that Greek looking dude that was in Dragon Ball Z,
Filler.
and like.
Yeah, he's filler.
That is the issue
Yeah.
with some of these anime games, bro. It's like there's I don't know if there's some issues with the contracts or whatever, but when it comes to filler characters, it's like they tippy-toe around it. Just like Ant's point, the only reason why we've ever gotten Bicon is because he's technically a movie character as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and those characters were the most interesting characters. Snake Way, the fake Namek.
Yeah, but you can't make them playable fighters though. Like, do you really want to play as the fake Namekians? Like, if are we being
You
honest?
could make it interesting. Like, no, I don't, right? But this is your job as a game developer to make it interesting. You guys did it with Dragon Ball Z Super. You guys just don't like the idea, but you can. Are we
No,
gonna
no, I
really
like
rule
the
out that they
idea.
can't? You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I like the idea, but I'm like, history has shown from these developers, are they right? Like, let's be for
Yeah.
real. Nail's in the game, bro. Nail, who did one attack to Frieza, one is in the game. And you know what they did with his moveset? They gave him that one attack against Frieza. That's it. He doesn't do anything cool, doesn't do anything exciting. You would have thought, hey, this would be a perfect time to introduce a new mechanic, maybe put in the Universe 6 Namekians, who did plenty of really cool stuff that we've never seen Piccolo do before. Nah, Nail with his one move. Because people like Nail, and Nail's also canon. Versus, to your point, Pycon, who put it a more interesting fight, introduced the entire concept of Super Kaioken. It's like, nah, well, he's gonna get in on technicality, and we're gonna sell him to you. You know, like it's one of those things. Like Tim said, it's like anime games seem to kind of shy away from this idea of DLC. How many times have we been asking for? Just to go back to Naruto for a quick second, the movie villains from Naruto. We've all asked for the buddy from the Land of Snow. He hasn't been in a Naruto game since Ultimate Ninja 2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that was an interesting movie villain. Put him in the game.
And I think that was a regional version too. I think only the Japanese version.
You're right. It didn't come to America. You're right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, fam, like, put them in the game. Like, what's the problem here? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we're going to see something Sparking Zero related next week at Gamescom. Like, the game is 2 months away from release. Sparkling Water. You know, it's 2 months from release. I still don't know if I'm gonna pick it up right away. There's a couple of things I'm like, I still needed to see it a little more fleshed out. But I will say, from the time when we first started covering on the pod, it's definitely been all up from there for me. Like, I'm like, for a party, if I'm looking at this as a party fighter, I'm like, this is entertaining to me. Like, it just looks visually appealing, let me say, for a Dragon Ball game.